Mr. Heslop here, going through the Year 9 end of year assessment. The first question is a linear equation. First we've got to expand the brackets. Then from that step on we've got to get the x's on the same side first. So if we subtract 2x from both sides, that's the easiest way of getting the x's on the same side without any negative x's knocking around later. And we get minus 3 equals 2x minus 20. If we then add the 20 to both sides, we get 17 equals 2x. This means x, which is 17 divided by 2, which is 8.5. Part B, to divide by we've got 2x squared equals 50, that means 2 lots of x squared equals 50. Not 2x all squared equals 50. So if we divide by 2 first, that means x squared equals 25. And if we square root that, there's two numbers that you can square to get 25. You've got 5, but also minus 5. Minus 5 times minus 5 will also be 25. Question 2. To round into two significant figures, the first significant figure is the first non-zero digit as you're coming from the left. So our first significant figure is 4. Our second significant figure is 1. Because it's got 7 next to it, we're going to round it up to 0.042. 3, it's a right angle triangle, we've got to find the missing side. So that's either going to be Pythagoras or trigonometry. There's no angle involved, but we know two sides, so it's going to be Pythagoras. The Pythagoras theorem tells us that 5 squared plus x squared equals 10 squared. So that means x squared must equal 10 squared minus 5 squared. So x squared must be 75. So x is the square root of 75. Which is 8.66. Question 4, there are various correct answers here, but you've got to make sure all the digits are different. So the first two numbers that factor of 180, the only two digits factor of 180 is 59. 59 times 2 is 118. You've got to start 59, there's no other legitimate starting point. But then in the middle, there's quite a lot of different things we could have had. 2-digit prime can't have been 11 because all digits have to be different, but it could have been for any one of 30, 17 or 19. So I'm going to put 17. And then the square number, which isn't a cube number, could be 25, could be 36, can't be 49 because we've already used up a 9. And we use the 25, but there were very different right answers to that there. 5. So it's given us a final simplified answer of this expression that we're going to expand. So if we expand 3 brackets x plus 6 minus x, I get 3x plus 18 minus x. So that would be. So that equals 2x plus 18. And if I then factorise that final answer, what that actually is that is the same as 2x, 2 brackets x plus 9. So that means if I look at the form it wants it in, with it factorised, a must be 9. Six is standard leading negative, messing with a lot of people up here. Always put that on the exams. A lot of people get cut out by expanding and simplifying. The first bracket is 12m minus 9t. Second one, we've got minus 2 times m. Then we've got minus 2 times minus 2t, so that's the plus 4t then. To simplify that, we've got 10m minus 9t plus 5t minus 5t. The final answer there. And then part B, finding double brackets. So we've got to do y times y, which is y squared. We've got to do y times minus 3, which is minus 3y. y times plus 10, this is plus 10y, and 10 times minus 3, which is minus 30, and that simplifies to y squared as 7y minus 30. Instead of a percentage reduction, so you're working out how much it's gone down by and what percentage that was of the original. So how much has it gone down by? It's gone down by 480 minus 312. It's a £168 reduction. And you've got to work out what percentage that was of what it was originally. To do that, we do 168 divided by the original price, 480, and we times it by 100. And to do that, you get 35%. Question 8, you've got to think a little bit here. We know that you've got 55% in section A, and what the greatest percentage you can possibly achieve in the whole examination. So you've got to assume you're going to get full marks in section B. That's the best you can possibly do. If you get full marks in section B, what percentage will that give you overall? Well, if you've got 55% in section A, and we can find out by doing 80 times 0.55, and he scores 44 marks in section A. And the greatest you can possibly do in section B is get 60 marks. The greatest total you can possibly get is 60 out of 44, 104 marks. And what percentage is that of the total? So the total is out of 140, so the greatest possible percentage is 104 out of 140. Get that to the 70 times by 100, and you will get 74.3%. These different figures. Now, we've got a sequence, we've got the nth term, but we know it's quadratic. We could, for the next term in the sequence, we can either use the fact that we know the nth term and n equals 5, or we can just continue the pattern where we're adding on 2 more than we've done previously each time. Whichever way you do it, you've got to add on 11 next time. 35. And 35 is 5 squared at 2 times 5 as well. These is the linear sequence where we're adding 4 each time. Because we're adding 4 each time, the sequence must start with 4n. But now look at what 4n would be. 4n would be 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. What do I have to do to all those numbers to get the numbers in my sequence? I have to add 3 each time. Add 3, etc. So that means the sequence we have is 4n, add 3. Question 10, there's a few different ways you could approach this. The most common way I saw, if you worked out right, so it's those 3 angles, all angles round a point, so they must add up to 360. People said let's have a look at that then. So there's worked out that 5x plus 25, plus 4x minus 3, plus 2x plus 8, that must equal 360. And if you simplify that, you get 11x plus 30 equals 360. So 11x must equal 330, which means x must equal 30. So in order for angles round a point to work, x must be 30. And now if it's a diameter AC, so that means 5x plus 25 must be 180. Also, 4x minus 3 plus 2x plus 8 must be 180. So we'll sub that, so with x being 30, we're going to say is 5x plus 25 180. Have a look, 5 times 30 plus 25, that's 175. So it's not 180. Therefore AC can't be the answer. 11 again is expanding and simplifying 2 brackets. So we've got to do x times x squared, minus 8 times x, minus 8x, 5 times x, and 5 times minus 8. We simplify that, we get x squared minus 3x minus 40. 12, we're asking, obviously it looks like a right angle triangle, which is the way they've drawn it, but it's not drawn accurately. And that's just, is it a right angle triangle? For every right angle triangle obeys the rules of Pythagoras. So if it is right angled, 7 squared plus 16.8 squared will equal 18.2 squared. And if you put all that into your calculator, you will find that 7 squared is 49, 16.8 squared is 282.24, and 18.2 squared is 31.24. And these two numbers do add up to give this number. So yes, it is right angled. We've got an estimated mean from a group fixture table. These are an estimate, because we don't know the exact number of cars each time. When we can know there's 2 cars fitting to 0 to 4, we don't know if they were all 1, 2, 3, 4. So what we do is we assume they're equally spread out around the midpoint. That's why it's an estimate. Find the midpoint of each group. So the midpoint of 0 to 4 is 2, midpoint of 5 to 9 is 7, midpoint of 10 to 14 is 12, etc. And then we're doing the frequency times the midpoint in this final column. Frequency times midpoint. So we're doing 2 times 2, 4, 6 times 7, 42, etc. And to get the mean, we want to add up all these numbers, which is 570. Add up all of these numbers, that's the total number of cars seen, or the total frequency. So that's 40. And the mean will therefore, mean number of cars per minute will be 570 divided by 40. So 570 cars seen in 40 minutes. Which is 14.25. Case 14, got to convert between inches and centimetres. We know that Craig's like 6 feet 12 inches tall, so 1 foot is 12 inches, so 6 feet must be 6 times 12 inches. So he's 72 inches at 5 inches tall. So Craig is 77 inches tall. Therefore, his height in centimetres is going to be 77 times 3.54. So every inch is 3.54 centimetres. And if you did that, you would get 195.58 centimetres, which is just too tall. So he needs to be 195 centimetres. So no, we can't ride, it's too tall, just by less than a centimetre. More work and expanding double brackets. So we've got to do x times x squared. Then x times b, xb, or bx, then a times x, so that's xa or ax, and a times b, ab. What we've got there, a times b, that's what we get in the end, ab, that must equal 6. So these two numbers, so a and b must times together to be 6. And if we look at this bit, the number of x we've got, we're going to have b plus a lots of x's. So we've got there b plus a lots of x's. So b and a, they're timed together to give 6. So what could they add together to get? Because that's what our aim is going to be. So if we could have 3 and 2, if a and b were 3 and 2, they would time together to give 6, they would add together to give 5. Or A and B could be 6 and 1. There's still time to give 6. Add together to give 7. 16 pair of simultaneous equations. Put the same amount of y's in each equation, or equation 1 and equation 2. So to eliminate the y's, we can subtract the equations from each other. So do equation 1, subtract equation 2. And I've got y subtract y is nothing. 5x subtract negative 3x. This is a bit of the went wrong. 5x subtract negative 3x. That'll be 8x if you're subtracting a negative. And you've got 13 subtract negative 11. So it's 24. So x is 3. And then once you know what x is, you can put that into either one of the two equations to get y. So I'll put it into equation 1. And that tells me that y plus 5x is now 15 plus equals 13. So y is going to be 13 minus 15 minus 6. So we can see another right angle triangle, but this time we don't know 2 of the sides. We only know 1 of the sides, and we know an angle, which means we can use trigonometry. So look at what sides are involved in the question. Well, x, the thing we're trying to find, is the opposite. And 13, the thing we've been given, is the hypotenuse. So it's going to be something involved in S or in H. So that means we're going to use stop. And we're trying to find the opposite x, which is going to be sine times hypotenuse. So x is the sin percent of the thing times hypotenuse, which is 13. The answer is 12.4 centimetres. 18. Quite a lot of things you have to do with this question to get all the marks. You know it's been measured to correct a near the centimetre rectangle. So that means the length could have been anything between 15.5 and 16.5, and the width could have been anything between 8.5 and 9.5. I want to find the low enough bound for the area. So the lower area, we're assuming that the length is as low as 15.5, and the width for the side is as low as 8.5. If you times those two numbers together, you get 131.75. And the upper area is the upper bound, 16.5 and 9.5, times them together, and it could have been 156.75. I want to show it as an inequality. So the final answer is an inequality. It can be as low as 131.75, the area, which we call A. But because we know that the lengths couldn't actually equal 16.5 and 9.5, it actually can only go size 16.4999999.4999999, etc. We put a less than sign, so the less than equal to sign. It can also, it can be less than 156.75. Not less than equal to. 19, probability tree diagram. If the probability when you win is 0.4, the probability when you not win must be 0.6. Assuming the coconut shy, probability of winning and not winning must be up to 1, that would be 0.7. And it doesn't matter what she's done the hoop beforehand, it could be 0.3 and 0.7. So we're in the coconut shy. The probability to win the hoop black and the coconut shy, and you need to multiply on the branches. So the probability to win the hoop are multiplied by the probability to win the coconut shy. So it's 0.12. And the last question, plain set of cards, looks like a standard sample space diagram or two-way table. Lots of people just continue the pattern thinking it's carried on adding up. You've got to be careful because the numbers don't just go from 1 to 5 on both sides or 1 to 4. Just got to be show a little bit of care when filling them out once you get these answers. And the probability Josh's total score will be greater than 12. But how many of the scores are greater than 12? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. out of the total number scores of 20, so it's 6 out of 20. It's going to be simplified to 3 x.